Hey hot tubbers, welcome back to another essential video on hot tub ownership. In today's video we're going to discuss how and when you should change your hot tub, and we'll give you some excellent tips and advice on how to maintain your hot tub for the long haul. So it's really important that you change your hot tub, and you need to do it on a pretty routine maintenance. If you're a chlorine or a bromine hot tub, you're going to need to change that hot tub a minimum every 3 to 4 months. Now that is based on usage. If there's only one person that's using it every so often, you could maybe stretch it out to 6 months. But basically what happens is your total dissolved solids gets too high, and you need to actually drain, replace that so your chemicals have room to work. When those total dissolved solids get too high, there's no room for those chemicals to bounce around and actually be effective. And as you continue to add more chlorine, add more shock, as you add all the things, and then of course the things that come off your body, whether it be sweat or detergents or all the other things that get in the hot tub and that use up that water, and that makes it need to be changed on a much more often basis. Typically we say every 3 to 4 months. Again, if there's only one person using it, you can maybe stretch it out to every 6 months. Now if you're a saltwater hot tub, the manufacturer recommends that you should change that once a year. And the reason for that is you're not adding as many extra chemicals that would have fillers and that type of stuff in it, and the water can freely reproduce chlorine without you actually having to add more chlorine to that hot tub, and that makes a huge difference. So bromine or chlorine hot tubs every 3 to 4 months. Saltwater hot tubs, you want to change those once a year. Now one of the questions that you may have is, when should I change my hot tub? Here in South Dakota, we actually recommend, and I would probably recommend this for pretty much everyone out there, is for sure we want to get everybody draining their hot tub sometime between Halloween and Thanksgiving. And if you live a little further north than I do, maybe even a little bit before Halloween, you'll want to do that. And the reason you want to do that is you want to beat the freezing cold temperatures, and you want to be able to get through the whole winter without having to drain your hot tub. Now, when we tell you every 3 to 4 months, and if you're draining it in October, so you got October, November, December, January, that puts you in the middle of January to drain your hot tub. In my market here in South Dakota, that is not possible. So we're going to try to get you all the way through till the end of February, beginning of March, when the temperature starts to raise a little bit. Do not drain and refill your hot tub when the temperature is below freezing. That is really important that you don't do that. So that is something to kind of keep in mind. You want to do it for sure sometime in the fall so you can get through the winter months. If you don't live in a freezing climate, it's not such a big deal, but that's the routine that we try to get you on here in the Midwest. And so once you get through the winter, the next time to drain your hot tub is typically sometime March, April, May. We'd like to see you drain your hot tub again, and then one more time somewhere in June, July, just to get through. And those of you who've sat in fresh water is the absolute best. And once you do it, you'll realize that life is so much easier. The hot tub is easier to take care of, and it is just a better way to go once you have fresh water, and once you sit in fresh water, it is absolutely awesome. So that would be when you need to change your hot tub. Signs that you actually need to change your water: one, you're having a really hard time getting the water balanced. Your pH and alkalinity are going two opposite directions, and it's just really hard for you to keep that hot tub in balance. That's one sign. Two would be that you seem to have to be using more and more chemicals. The more chemicals that you're using, you're adding more total dissolved solids. That means that the sanitizers aren't being effective, and it's filling up the water, and it is not being able to actually continue the process. So if those are a couple of reasons that you need to do that, the water gets really cloudy and you can't clear it. So if you're someone who uses a lot of stain and scale control, or someone who uses a lot of anti-foam, those are two products that are fantastic, and I highly recommend them. However, they can start to cloud the water, and once that water is cloudy, it's really hard to clean that. So what are some of the factors that contribute to when you need to actually drain your hot tub? Well, the general rule of thumb, or the formula that you need to use, is take the number of gallons that your hot tub is, divide that by 3, and then divide it again by 2. So for example, my hot tub that I have out back is the Hot Spring Grandie. That's 450 gallons. I'm going to divide that by 3, and so that's 150, and then I'm going to divide that by 2 because it's typically Frank and I in the hot tub. So 75 days. So if we divide that by 30, so we'll figure 30 days in a month. At 2.5 months I should be changing my hot tub. And that's just a general rule of thumb, and that would be if I was on chlorine. I'm actually on a saltwater hot tub, and I typically change my hot tub twice a year versus once a year. A, for video purposes, but B, it's a heavily used hot tub. And we have a lot of neighbors and family and a lot of people that come over and use the hot tub. So my hot tub actually gets changed twice a year, but general rule of thumb is you can actually get a whole year on a saltwater hot tub. I have a lot of other things going on that make me want to change mine a little more than that. Steps to draining your hot tub. I have a ton of videos and a whole playlist, and I'll link that up here that you can check that out. But steps to draining your hot tub. One is you want to pull your filters out and clean your filters. If you're going to purge your hot tub, once a year is plenty to do that. So purge your hot tub once a year. Otherwise, you want to pull your filters out. You're going to disconnect the power. Once you disconnect the power or shut the breakers off, then you can actually drain your hot tub. A lot of hot tubs have little drains at the bottom of them. You can just unscrew those and let them drain out. I personally am not a big fan of that. I feel that takes forever. And if I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that on my way to work, and I'll get it when I come back once it's done, because that can typically take, 8 to 10 hours to do that. Otherwise, I recommend a submersible pump. I'll have a link down in the description of the one I actually recommend. It's in all my videos. It's a really good pump. It has a 2-inch hose, and I can drain my 450-gallon hot tub in about 15 minutes. Otherwise, there's some really cool hacks out there. You can actually do what they call a quick drain. I'll put a little video right over here how that works, but it's actually just a siphon drain. You actually stick that in the hose and you pump that up and down, and away you go. So those are just a couple of ways that you can drain your hot tub. You can definitely try that. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to want to clean the hot tub out. There will be a little bit of water left in the bottom of the hot tub. It's up to you if you decide that you want to get in there and chop back or bail that out, but otherwise you can just, even if you leave that little bit in there, it's such a small amount that you won't have to worry about it. It just depends on how often you're draining your water. If it's a once a year thing, get in there and clean it all out. If it's just every 3 to 4 months, that little bit, that inch or two that's left in the bottom of the hot tub, it'll get dissolved, or that inch or two that's left in the bottom of the hot tub, piece of cake, you'll just literally, it'll be diluted out once you add the water to it and go from there. Then wipe it down. I recommend something like Clean and Perfect or Off the Wall to actually clean the hot tub. Once the hot tub is clean, then you're going to fill it back up. When you fill it back up, it is super important that you put the hose down the filter standpipe. If you don't do that, you can create what they call an airlock, and that makes it really hard to hook that hot tub back up. So just kind of keep that in mind and put it down the filter standpipe, and then you do not turn the power back on until the water is at the bottom of the pillows or over the highest jet in your hot tub. Once that is completed, then you're going to turn the power back on. You're going to clean your filters. You're going to put them back in the hot tub, and then you are going to balance your water. I have a lot of videos about that. Be sure to check those up here, and we can definitely help you get that balanced. And then you start sanitizing, and away you go, and you are ready to start enjoying your hot tub again, at least for the next 3 to 4 months on a chlorine or bromine, or at least the next year on a saltwater hot tub. So that's just a quick overview, and the reason that I did this video is I'm actually going to be doing a whole nother drain, clean, and purge video for you guys here pretty soon, but it's getting to be the time of year when people need to start thinking about draining and cleaning their hot tub. This is the time of year to do it. I'll have links for some products down below that you can get, or you can just, use your favorite products. It doesn't matter, but it is time to start thinking. Sometime between Halloween and Thanksgiving, you need to drain, clean, and refill your hot tub and just make sure that it is completely ready for winter. And guys, thank you so much for watching and letting me help you become a happy hot tub owner. We'll see you next week.